What is up, everybody? Zach from Redwood Chronicles. Got another install video for the Husqvarna 701. Today we're going to be installing the Oberon clutch slave. These factory ones have a lot of issues with the seal and stuff. Allegedly they fixed it, but it's not something I want to deal with in the middle of a trip. So we're just going to replace it now so we don't have to worry about it. Some things you'll need. I got my ghetto bleed kit here. Just a gas hose going into a bottle. The local shop did not have the proper bleed kit, so I'll order that, and then but this will do for now. Go over how to use that later. The Motor X brake fluid, obviously the clutch slave itself and the kit that it comes in. You'll need a T30, T25, and I believe this is a T20, and then an 8mm, and that should be about all you need to do it. Also a little bit of masking tape here. I'll go over with what I use that for. It's a little trick I brought over from mountain biking. But yeah, hope this video helps you guys out. Hope you get this installed done easy. Hopefully it goes easy for me. We'll find out, but here goes nothing. All right, so the first thing we're gonna wanna remove is the exhaust heat shield. So you got these two bolts right here, T25. This just gives you a little bit more room to get to the bleeder and everything else. Don't need to take the exhaust off to do this, although it would make it a little bit easier, but for all the research I've done, it's unnecessary. Oh, not that one. Third bolt right there. Forgot this is actually connected to the exhaust shield as well. All right, now that your exhaust shield is removed, we're gonna move over the sprocket cover. So you got an 8mm bolt right here. And then this is a 10 up here. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the slave. Before I undo it, I'm just gonna crack these, just so they're easier to get off later on down the road. This one can actually stay on. The new clutch slave comes with one, so then we'll just pull this guy off. Back to that 8mm. So lost a little fluid there, but nothing too crazy. This is DOT brake fluid, so ideally we want to keep this off of everything as much as we can. Get that little bit cleaned up. I should have had a rag in place. And we'll go ahead and we'll disconnect this. It should hold a vacuum because we haven't pulled the lever cover off yet. So there you go. No squirty. Get the rest of this cleaned up a little bit more. This bike is brand new. You'd want to make sure if it was any dirt or anything in there that you got it out. Make sure the gasket's all cleaned. All right, and then Oberon sends you a new gasket. This is directional. So we'll get this guy fitted on. Green's gonna face you. The other thing you'll wanna do is lube up this O-ring with a little bit of motor oil. All right, once that's all lubed up, we'll go ahead and get this guy put back on there. Gonna thread one of these top bolts through just to make the gasket line up a little bit better. There you go. We'll just get these snug for now. I'm gonna have to look up the torque specs on them in the manual and figure out what that is. And we'll torque them down to spec. Pull this red thing out. Then we'll go ahead and rethread this in. Now, your new clutch kit from Oberon comes with a couple O-ring or gasket things. You only are gonna use those if your bike was already using it. So my bike was not, so we're not gonna use those. Be very careful not to cross thread this. snug that guy up. And once you have that guy snugged up, I'm gonna check the torque specs and torque those top 2 bolts, so give me a minute. All right, so in the back of your manual, you'll find the torque specs for your bike for every part of it. You gotta look that up. You can take my word for it if you want. It's 10 Newton meters for these slave cylinder screws. Next, I'll go ahead and get this cover back on. Should still be able to hook up to the bleeder and access that. I just want to make sure that this is tight. Go ahead and torque this bottom one down to 10 Newton meters now. All right, now that new guy's installed, we'll go ahead and start the bleeding process. To start out, we want to make sure that this guy's tight, which it is. Pop this little cap off. Go ahead and take our little ghetto bleed tube here. And just get that over the top. All right, so we got our little ghetto bleed hose hooked up here. You ever have a feeling something's just not gonna go the way you're wanting it to? I feel like this is gonna give me some problems. All right, so you may have been wondering what the masking tape was for. I took this from how I do my mountain bike brake levers. But if you get a piece of tape, run it all the way across, and then you'll just kind of cut it here. And then now we can rotate the lever itself up so that this is more level, and then we'll know where to turn it back to. Next, we'll grab this T30 and just loosen this guy up a little bit so we can level out this this whole kit and caboodle here so the fluid doesn't spill out. Then we'll kind of tighten that back down. Take a T20, pull off this cover. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen this just like that, just enough to crack it. And then we'll loosen this, then we will squeeze in the clutch, and then we will tighten this, and then we will let go of the clutch. So loosen, squeeze the clutch in and hold it in, then we'll retighten this down, and then we'll let out the clutch. And the other thing is we need to make sure that there's enough fluid in here that it's not sucking air, because that's what we're trying to get rid of anyway, is all the air. So it's gonna be kind of hard to show you guys, but hopefully that's a good description of it, and then you'll kind of see it in action here. So again, we're gonna loosen this, squeeze, tighten, let out. Loosen, squeeze, tighten, let out. All right, so we're gonna loosen, squeeze, tighten, let out. There's the problem I was waiting for. I knew that was coming at some point. Once you have a good pressure built up, you'll go ahead and get this guy back on, the cover back on. You don't want to fill this all the way up because, as you can see, the cover does go protrude in. So if you fill it up too much, you'll get a bunch of stuff leaking out, which is not what you want. Tighten those back down. All right, guys, just got back from taking her for a little test ride. Clutch works good. Everything's solid and holding, no leaks, so happy with it. Can't tell a difference, but hopefully it won't break now. Last couple things we gotta do is get our clutch lever back to where it was. So this is where that tape comes in handy. You line it up to how it was, just like that, to where the tape would connect, basically. Should have it right where it was. Close enough. All right, then the last thing we need to do is put this heat shield back on. So behind your plastics here, pop it out a little bit, you can see the two grooves. Show you really quick. There's those two grooves that the heat shield goes into. So push those up, and then everything should more or less line up after that. And that's that, folks. Got it all in there. Everything works as it should. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helped you out get that installed if it's a modification you're gonna do. Admittedly, one of the more ghetto installs I've done with my kombucha bottle bleed kit, but you know, it worked and it's what I had available, so we made it happen. And I'll probably do a rebleed. Ordered the tool, so once we get the right tool, do a rebleed and just fine tune it a little bit, but it works for now, so that's all we're after. Have a good one, guys.